Welcome to the official review on day 3 of the men's roller derby World Cup here in Barcelona. We've had 3 incredible games of gameplay and Saturday.
3 days of gameplay.
Yep, and Saturday has been absolutely no exception, as now we know what our finals look like and we start to get an indication of how right we were with predictions and where we're going to be travelling on from here. How have we all found the third day?
Fantastic.
As always.
Yes,
Yeah.
I mean,
Amazing.
one game especially, but yeah, what a day.
Well, let's start at the beginning of the day.
Yeah.
Okay, let's look back to when Italy took on Japan.
Yep.
We saw Italy win that game 300 to Japan's 102.
Yep.
And incredibly, I think we saw more of what we'd expected from Japan over what we've seen over the last few days, which is them fighting incredibly hard. Then we saw New Zealand and Chile 108 to 306.
Yeah, what that means is Italy will play Chile tomorrow. That will decide 17th and 18th place, and New Zealand will play Japan to decide 19th and 20th.
And then we saw Sweden take on Netherlands 306 to Netherlands 83, and Ireland versus Germany 214 to Germany's 136. I was there for that game.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ireland were completely unformed. The 4th time those two have met at the Men's World Cup.
They met twice at the first one.
Yeah, they met twice at the first one, and Ireland won every time. But in the last World Cup, Germany managed to really close that points differential between the two. I think it got down to 34 points between the two teams. This time, Ireland getting back out in front, a 70-plus point differential, and all of a sudden we've seen that Ireland, a really strong, more refined team.
I think the game against Sweden tomorrow that will decide 13-14, I think will be a really good game. I think Sweden will call cold first and the rest made to call out. So I think that will be a really battle. And Germany and Netherlands will play off the 15th and 16th.
So, then Scotland 294, Spain 147. Who was there for that one?
I was there. I was speaking in this one. And for the first half, we had this kind of feeling that Spain is going to win the game because there were, I think it was 2 or 3 lead change on the first half. But then we start with the problem about penalties. We arrived to the second half with 3 jammers of Team Spain with 5 penalties each. And then we had another 2 players with 3 penalties. And actually, I think it was 2 jammers of Team Spain who end this game with the fallouts. We only had 1 jammer with only 1 penalty. And then on the other side, on Scotland, we had Optimus Grime, who was just playing his game.
Always does.
And yeah, but he was only having 1 penalty. And each time that they had the power jam in their favor, he was just doing magic. And I just fell in love with him.
I think we've said so already, haven't we, how agile Optimus Grime is and just how graceful he looks on the track.
Yeah.
And then we also had Belgium, Finland. So Belgium 191, Finland 268.
So that's in the 9th to 12th place bracket. So Scotland will play Finland for 9th and Spain will play Belgium for 11th place. Interesting little side note on that. Finland and Scotland. Scotland 2014, Finland 2016 were the 8th place teams.
So they're fighting
for 9th this time.
And then, so you in front of you right now, you can see how tomorrow's starting to play out based on today's score. We then saw Denmark and Colombia, 101 Denmark, 253 to Colombia. Did anyone manage to catch some of that?
I didn't see much of that.
I was on the feed for that one.
Go on.
Started out incredibly close. Within the first 15 minutes, I believe we'd had 3 lead changes. A lot of back and forth. Both teams really showing how strong they were coming out of their wins yesterday. Obviously, Colombia last night with that last-minute win against Philippines, and Denmark with their definite win from against Poland. And then it was peculiar because Denmark were running a 3-jammer rotation, and then they dropped to a 2-jammer rotation. And from that point on, for 8 jams, no score.
Oh.
Yeah, exactly. And
Wow.
that's where it kind of started to to fray a little bit for Denmark. Colombia absolutely capitalised, started running away with it. Penalties for Denmark. Obviously, they're a short squad, 10 of them, I believe, and the toll was showing. It's obviously been a long weekend, short numbers. They kept fighting valiantly. They did make an impressive comeback in the second half, but Colombia had pulled away too much already by that point.
So, and then we also saw on the M14 Industries track, Poland 138, Philippines 216. We saw quite a fraught Poland. There were quite a lot of penalties on both sides. Philippines consistently picking up leads, especially towards the end of the second half. It's just almost every jam was going through with Philippines picking up lead. But there were a few golden moments that shone through when Poland had a 23-point jam, which sort of came completely out of the blue, just going into the end of the first period. But it was an amazing game to call, actually.
Yes, so what those results mean is that all 4 teams in their first World Cup, Colombia finished 21st, Denmark 22nd, Philippines 23rd, and Poland will be in 24th. Those 4 teams are gone. They can enjoy tomorrow as fans.
Yep.
And I'm sure with a few beers as well, and well earned.
Yes, definitely.
Then I'm gonna talk about Argentina, Mexico first. The 111 to Argentina, 234 to Mexico. You were quite frustrated when you came to give us score
Yes.
updates. Tell us a little bit about what happened there.
I know Argentina quite of a bit, so I was very surprised about the quantity of penalty that they were having on the first period. Well, when I came here, I just said, like, I don't lie if I say they had 12 power jam for Mexico in the first half. But that's true, too, that in the second half, they start to play their game a little bit. They were just, like, calming down. I thought they were speaking with the ref on the halftime, like the Argentina blockers. They were asking, like, what is our problem? Why we are having this kind of problem with the penalties? So at the second time, it was the more like a stable game for Argentina, and we can tell at the score it was climbing a little bit for Argentina in the second period. But it's true that Mexico was having a huge momentum, and they had a huge momentum in this World Cup. They were playing against England, and it was just like we were just doubting about the leading sheet of this game, and Mexico just won this game. But Argentina fight, so I was kind of happy. It had the kind of a bittersweet feeling at the end of the game, like, okay, they just show their level.
And then I think we have to talk about the closest, most fraught game that we've seen, in my humble opinion, so far in the Men's World Cup. And that was the England-Australia game.
Oh, my God.
There were...
It may not have been the closest in margins that we've had, but in terms of epic swings in that, sort of 30, 40, 50-point swings for both teams, as well as, you see, it just came down to it, and that extra jam at the end, and ended up being a 3-point differential. It was an amazing game to watch.
Oh, sorry.
Even watching it back, we're excited.
The angle that I had from my watching of that game, I missed a lot of the action on turn 1, so I hadn't seen that wonderful transitional move by Waterman. That was
sorry, yes.
So I apologise for that random yell that everybody just got coming out of their computer screens.
I think what we saw, and it was, again, a little bit like when we saw England play Mexico yesterday, that in the first, apart from it wasn't the whole first period, it was in the first sort of 10, 15 minutes, I started to think England aren't looking their strongest.
Yes.
But all of a sudden, they started to turn it up. Australia turns it up to 11, and before you knew it, you had a game that saw something like, I think it was 9 or 10 lead changes right towards the end. England in the last 6 minutes just getting that very small lead, which they managed to hold on to until that final jam. Sully picks up an injury, jam's called off. We have 1 second put back on the clock by Duncan, our head for the game. And then that final jam, we see England get leads, almost immediately call it off. And just
after a bit of showboating.
After about the showboating.
It's Fish, it's what he does.
It was well earned.
But I actually want to say massive thank you to all the officials. I think in that situation, the jam was called off for injury, which is correct. The skater was bleeding from actual injury.
Wow.
Period clock had expired, but because the way the game stood, Australia had lead at that time when the jam was called off. The referee, Duncan Disorderly, made the right call in my mind to put 1 second back on the clock and have one more jam. I think the big calls all weekend, the referees have got spot on.
They've been
so massive shout out to all our referees, all our NSOs, the stats crew, and anybody watching that does any of those roles for their home leagues and home teams. We can't do this without you. So thank you.
You also might have noticed I've acquired a small pin badge that says that you probably can't see it. Says Team Yellow, because you've seen a massive cohort of people in yellow and orange T-shirts.
Yeah.
There are incredible volunteers that have just made everything run smoothly. They're volunteers from all over the world, and also from our host, our fantastic host actually, Spain.
Yes.
And I think we just owe them all a massive thank you for making it.
Yeah, absolutely, definitely. Quite tangent, anyway, as we do.
So now looking at all of those scores up to England, Australia, finally the games that you've just seen: USA 310, France 47, and Wales 87, Canada 289.
So what that means is that tomorrow we will have Wales versus Argentina, which is a repeat of the group stage game. They will play off for 7th and 8th place. Also a repeat of the group stage game, we'll see Mexico and Canada. Third time that they've played each other in 2 World Cups. Same for Argentina and Wales, actually. They played 2 years ago. That will be for 5th and 6th. Australia, or the Wizards of Oz, I should say, will play against France for the bronze medal. And the final, for the 3rd time running, will be the United States versus England.
So, how are we feeling about those predictions that you made all those few days ago, guys?
Yeah.
Do we have to?
I have to go back about 10 pages through notes, but look, there they are.
Oh, no.
So at the very beginning of the Men's World Cup, King, you turned around and you said that you were going to put Canada in 4th.
Yeah, I was. I thought the French were strong. I didn't realise they were quite that strong.
And then Australia in 3rd.
That I still think Australia will beat France tomorrow. It'll be a great game. I'm looking forward to watching it.
And USA 2nd.
Did say that was heart over head. Head over heart was USA winning over England, but heart over head. I'm not trusting my heart so much on that one now.
And Trons, USA right up the top.
Yeah, I'm still saying that.
And England, you stand by still in 2nd.
Yes.
Argentina won't be in that 3rd place
I will always
position.
say that is, yes.
To you, they're 3rd, aren't they?
They're always, they're always first in my heart. But, I had to be realistic too. And, 3rd place, it's always a good place.
Yes.
And then your last call, which at the time you weren't sure about.
Yeah, that's true. I was saying like, okay, I had to do it because I live there, but I was, now I'm kind of more proud that I was all the time. I'm like, oh, wow. Like,
And France have performed outstandingly.
They have done, yeah.
I mean, 47 points against the USA should not be taken lightly.
Yes.
No. Highest score this tournament against USA.
Yeah, and
I think it's probably more than they've conceded combined in the rest of the tournament.
wouldn't surprise
Yes.
me.
Yeah.
Actually, we should do that maths and bring
In fact,
that to you
yeah.
tomorrow morning.
I can confirm
It
they
was 4
previously
points in
conceded
the group
33
stage.
points.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
So well done, France, for playing valiantly against USA. So we've just talked you through what you're going to see. Here's some of those highlights of the France-USA game. Actually, quite a few leads from France in the second period as well, wasn't there? Jams 19, 20 and 21 were all leads of France. 2 points, 1 point and 4 points picked up respectively in each of those jams.
Charlie Cool just fighting his way through, picking up the lead. A little fist bump at the end to celebrate. Magnum PRMP losing the cover.
Hit so hard, they knocked the helmet cover off.
And Rollermite versus Kilian Cross. What a battle that is.
Yes.
That's one that's worth the entrance money or the feed money alone.
I actually said
That
earlier,
was a phenomenal jump.
Killian Cross held on to Carter for the best part of 30 seconds, one-on-one, and did not allow him to get lead, and gave France, who had already sat in the penalty box, to come back on the track and pick up lead. It was just
That's impressive.
a magical moment. So Killian Cross, props.
I didn't see that, so that's one for me to go back and watch.
Oh, you're in for a treat.
Now, remember, everything that has been on the live feed today, if you have bought yourself a 4-day pass, you are able to watch back straight away. If you are watching us outside of the paywall this evening, then you have to buy yourself a pass so you can go back and watch them immediately. Otherwise, all games will be available in 30 days' time. Do keep your tweets, your posts, your Instagram messages coming through using hashtag MRDWC 2018. You can tell it's
That's
coming.
for
Been a long few
Instagram.
days.
Yep, it's been a long few days.
Yeah.
And make sure you add the World Cup on Snapchat as well for behind-the-scenes looks at what's been going on across the tournament.
And we can see on the screen another meme, you know, that this time is going to be for Spain. He was dancing on the jammer line, and it was not me. It was not me, the one who noticed that. I had to say that media is doing an amazing job. And when we were just talking about jammers and GIF and stuff, they just put this on the screen, and we were like, "That's a meme. That's magic."
Yeah.
I know my highlights kind of, you know, music and dancing, but
We love.
I think we should put together a dance highlights of best call-offs and jam moments
please do that.
for tomorrow night. Just a quick one: if you're watching this and you're coming to the tournament tomorrow, or if you know someone that's here, if you could pass this message on to them. Tomorrow around the venue from 9 a.m. till 11:30 a.m. the streets will be closed for a road race all around the venue, so it's not possible to get here by car, taxi or public transport. It's best to come on foot, or you'll need to get dropped off somewhere a bit further away and walk up. We just want to make sure that everybody knows that so you can enjoy finals day here at the Men's Roller Derby World Cup 2018. From Tronchatoro, from King, from Snuggins and myself, good night, and we'll see you tomorrow morning.